Afternoon, and thank you for having me.
I think let's start with establishing your work as a biomedical scientist. What does all of that involve?
Well, my 8 to 5 during the day is I don't necessarily have to sit in front of a computer the whole day or behind a desk.
Mm.
I have an opportunity to physically work with individuals who struggles with certain skin concerns and disease.
Mm.
And also, my favorite part of the day is actually working in a laboratory environment.
Right.
So the lab environment is not only to formulate and produce certain products for dermatology applications, but we also have the opportunity to culture skin cells that can be used for research and development purposes, but mainly also to help individuals with burns patients for skin transplants and so forth. So I like to tell people we make skin for a living, we understand it very well.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about skin as the first portal for symptoms, for diseases like diabetes, as I'd mentioned. Doc, diabetes often reveals itself in the skin, as I understand it, before any diagnosis is made. Let's talk about some of the symptoms that we can see through the skin.
Well, I like to tell people that the human skin is a diagnostic organ. And let's start when you're a young child. And if you take a small baby to a pediatrician, what is
Mm.
the first things that a pediatrician does? They look in the eyes, they look in the ears, they look in the throat, and then lastly, they analyze and evaluate the skin. And that's why, because the human skin is nothing other than a diagnostic organ, it tells you what is wrong from a systemic point of view. And I know we're talking about diabetes, but for instance, I can talk about heart disease and heart failure as well. You can
Mm.
physically see when somebody has heart failure or heart disease because of, there's a very defined complexion and skin tone and color because a lack of oxygenation to the skin. Nails actually turn blue, for instance, lips can turn blue because of lack of oxygen to the skin. So the human skin is a diagnostic organ. And
Right.
then the same happens actually with when an individual struggles with diabetes. Now, I know there is a difference between diabetes 1 and diabetes 2, and some new types of diabetes are actually also coming to the forefront. But fact
Wow.
of the matter remains is diabetes comes down to fluctuating blood glucose levels. Either there's a lack of insulin or there's just a complete deprivation of insulin. And this, of course, is going to have an effect on human skin. And the first thing, because of the fluctuation, is purely the fact that it's going to reduce your immunity. Now, can you imagine if your immunity is reduced? Then it basically opens the door for a wide array of things to happen with you,
Mm.
and to make you not only your skin but your whole body more compromised. So if the immunity is low, then certain skin conditions or skin concerns that's associated with very low immunity now starts to express. And some of these expressions are typically vitiligo. So you will find some of these diabetic patients may struggle with vitiligo. In other words, it's like white patches on the skin,
Mm.
and it can spread only on one side of the body, or it can spread on both sides of the body typically. But you can have it on your face, you can have it on your hands. So vitiligo is a complete complexion indifference that individuals can struggle with. And then another immunity compromise condition that can take place is of course psoriasis.
Mm.
And psoriasis is scaly patches that people can get on their skin, and even on their scalp, and it can spread over the whole body, where it's these scaly, very itchy type of patches that's associated with individuals with low immunity. Now you have to forgive me. the list is very long, so you have to cut in if you want to ask a question. But because of the fact that individuals with diabetes has this fluctuation with blood glucose level and immunity, so many other things can start to express on the skin. And one of the other things that can take
Yeah.
place is of course bacterial infection. So they're
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
prone to bacterial infections as well. They're more prone to cellulitis. Then, of course, fungal infections. Please don't ever underestimate fungal infections. I mean, you can just go to the gym, for instance, or use communal ablution blocks, or swim in a heated pool, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, and be exposed to fungal infections.
Right.
Share same towels with other people and get things like athlete's foot or ringworm. So you're much more prone to these type of thing.
Okay.
Aside from the fact that you can also struggle with dry skin. I think you also mentioned it in your introduction, is a compromised skin barrier. So the skin always feels dry.
Right.
Um,
Okay, doc.
then it's not uncommon.
Yes.
Sorry, I told you the list was long.
No, the list is long. And also, I think just for the purposes of the conversation, we are going to keep the information just bite sized. So let's take a break. We have on the line Dr. Judey, who's a biomedical scientist and founder of Biomedical Emporium. And we're really just looking at the skin as a diagnostic tool, as she said. So, dryness, pigmentation, slow wound healing, all of that being symptoms of diabetes and possibly other illnesses, as mentioned by the doctor. Let's take a break.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Muranziwa wa mina. Muranziwa means my love in Xitsonga. So if you're listening to this, just know that you are my love. Yes. You and I are an item. We're dating. We are together. So I love you, baby. Why are you blushing? Why are you blushing? Like, haven't you heard somebody confessing their love to you? I mean, you gotta get used to it now, because I'm gonna tell you this every day, that I love you. I can tell you, there are so many people who are never told they are loved. I come to the studio every Monday, 12 to 3, because I've got an appointment with you. I take you serious. Forget about the other person, right? Moranziwa.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
We're 22 minutes into 1 p.m. in Central African time, a conversation really about how we can take care of ourselves, whether you are pre-diabetic or not diabetic or have type 1 or 2 diabetes. This information can definitely assist you on your journey. On the line with me is Dr. Judey, the founder of Biomedical Emporium, and she is talking to us about just some of the symptoms that show through the skin that could be happening to you internally. And of course, we're observing National Diabetes Day, and we are paying attention to the skin as a diagnostic tool so that you can help yourself and take care of yourself better. Dr. Judey, you mentioned so many issues around the dryness of the skin, changes in pigmentation. Also, when we talk about diabetes, for example, the slow healing of wounds is another indication. But I mean, all of this is just so much information, and we don't want to now go and consult with Dr. Google, see, or is it Dr. AI these days, because we're panicking about the fact that maybe I've had dry skin, I don't know, for the last month or whatever the case is. So how can I, as an individual, distinguish between everyday skin issues as compared to those that signal something much deeper, a much deeper metabolic problem? Is it can I do that myself, or do I always have to consult with a doctor like yourself?
Well, I think at the end of the day, what you actually are saying really carries some weight, because so many people are actually now living with diabetes too, and they don't even know it. It's purely because of the fact that our lifestyle choices makes us develop diabetes too, specifically, and we struggle with some of these symptoms that I've just mentioned on earlier, and we kind of just live with it at the end of the day. So yes, one wants to journey as much as you possibly can with a medical practitioner. But I would definitely say, one of the things, and also what you've indicated earlier on, let's keep it to bite size. So from a bite size point of view, something that really stands out for me in terms of, listen, we probably have a problem now. And this is what we call microcirculation. Microcirculation already tells you the lower limb extremities of your bodies. In other words, the lower and your foot. If you start to develop these type of shin spots, like it looks like bruising a bit on the lower limb extremities, and also maybe you bump your toe somewhere, and you pick up but this type of wound is not healing quickly, and it's as if you feel that there's not proper circulation at the lower limb extremities, then this is definitely one of those signs that I would say, guys, don't take a chance whatsoever. Get to a medical practitioner to have a look and evaluate and analyze a little bit. Because delayed wound healing with diabetic patients is not a small problem. It is a huge problem. And there are even things that certain diabetic patients, introduce or has part of their lifestyle that can delay that wound healing even further. And the reason why I'm overemphasizing talking about this part specifically is because if a diabetic patient don't take care of these type of wounds quickly or soon enough, and also don't stop certain lifestyle habits like smoking, it will ultimately end up into what we call an acute wound on the lower limb, either the lower limbs or the foot or the ankle or the toes, like a pressure ulcer or diabetic ulcer. And if it doesn't heal, then take place, eventually the lower limbs with these patients, get amputated. So it's extremely serious, and it's a real thing that takes place. So the delayed wound healing is without a doubt something that's very important, especially in the lower limb extremities. Also, you can imagine it's associated with more elderly individuals, elderly patients. I'm not saying it's definitely, but it's definitely associated with. Say there's some other things that you can also be on the lookout for. I don't know whether people notice that they get these like cholesterol deposits on top of the eyes. It looks like there's a fatty pocket on top of the eyes, and sometimes even underneath the eyelids as well. And this is known as xanthomas. So that also gives you an indication, listen, something is wrong. Get to a doctor and find out, what's going on. But to say that you have to run to a doctor just for dry skin or itchy skin is not necessarily to say that makes you a diabetic patient.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. We don't want to panic. Okay, but let's talk about Biomedical Emporium. This is obviously a multi-award-winning brand that you started to really help women with, just some topical stuff. The serums that I see on there, some supplements which can help. Perhaps let's talk about the vitamin C's and the collagen. All these big buzzwords now in the wellness space, as it were. But from a medical point of view, can what I put on my skin topically, obviously with the serums as I'd mentioned, but accompanied with a good diet, with watching my stress levels, with making sure I've balanced my hormones and all of that wonderful holistic medical regenerative stuff, doctor. How can I use perhaps products from Biomedical Emporium to really enhance my health from the inside out?
No, and you hit it spot on. To take care of your skin is definitely something that should be inside out. From an oral point of view, my advice is always to make sure that these collagen drinks that's now so popular and everybody has a collagen drink. It's very important because the collagen don't only play a good role in your skin health, but also your hair, your scalp health,
Right.
and your nails, and also even your cartilage and your bone. So if you can drink your collagen drinks, but make a clever decision. That collagen, buy a collagen type of drink that's also mixed with all of the vitamins and minerals that you need for the day. And also some of the amino acids that's really healthy for your systemic health. And then
Yes.
a good pre and probiotic. So gut health, oh my goodness, gut health is very, very important, not only systemically, but for the skin. And then from a topical point of view, short and sweet. We need a three-step process every single day, but twice a day. So don't be lazy, guys. Please take
Okay.
care of your skin in the morning and in the evening. So a three-step process would typically look like you cleanse your skin, and ingredients should be like salicylic acid, glycolic acid, or lactic acid to help you to remove all the dead skin cells
Right.
from the outer layer,
Yeah.
followed by a good serum, like a vitamin C serum, like you mentioned, and in the morning, a good sunscreen. And then at nighttime, you cleanse your skin again. And then this time around, get retinol. Retinol. Oh, and diabetic patients can actually use retinol,
Yeah.
followed by a moisturizer that's rich in peptides and ceramides and growth factors. And
Love
that's
it.
the
Okay.
best.
Doc, thank you so much. I think you have given us a big masterclass as to how to really take care of oneself from the inside out. Always a pleasure to have Dr. Judey on the show. She is the founder of Biomedical Emporium. Should you wish to just look at her product line, just go online. The website is there. It's biomedicalemporium.com. 1:31. Let's check in with Figileli Ngwati standing by at the sports desk.
Sports.